Hello and welcome to another episode of Collab with Kiva. I am your host, Kiva Slade, and today I'm excited to dive into this topic. It's really about the power of project management tools for a service-based small business owner. And of course, we talk all things operations and data here, so not always sexy, but PM tools are necessary. So, with that being the case, let's talk about how they can revolutionize your business. But if you're not using it, it could be a problem in your business. And really, project management tools serve the purpose of literally streamlining your tasks, enhancing collaboration, and maximizing your productivity. And who doesn't want more of that? So let's get started. In today's fast-paced business world, service-based small business owners, we face unique challenges. Without a project management tool, it's easy to get overwhelmed, lose track of important tasks, and struggle with communication. That's why it's crucial for every service-based entrepreneur to harness the power of project management tools. I don't care if you are a team of one. That means you, yourself, and you. Then you still could benefit from the use of a project management tool. And it only serves as a good foundation, gets you in a good habit when you start adding to that team of one. So let's dive into some benefits of having a tool. First, obviously, you're going to be able to streamline your task, and that increases efficiency. So you have a central platform in which to organize your projects, deadlines, your deliverables. And then this allows you to stay on top of your workload, avoiding missed deadlines and overlooked tasks. Everyone knows those things that aren't, if it's not written down, it's not really going to be addressed. And we have those thoughts. If you're me, you have them in the shower in the morning when there's like quiet and water just running, and you have these amazing ideas, but they don't translate into actual tasks because sometimes they just wash down the shower drain. Anywho, if you have a PM tool and you are in the process of, hey, we've just had a client meeting, these are the takeaways, the actionable items, they now go into the project management tool. They are not going down the drain of never to be seen again because you're utilizing a tool. For example, if you're maybe a graphic designer, you have multiple client projects that are taking place. Without a tool, and I'm not going to go into the details of which tool you should choose because that is very specific for you, your industry, how you have your business set up, in addition to how you function. But there are amazing tools out there. I've done a podcast on tools, so definitely check that out. But basically with the tool, you can keep track as a graphic designer, like your design revisions, the feedback, the due dates. And with the right tool, you can create specific tasks, you can set reminders, you can have a clear overview of all of your projects, ensuring everything is completed on time and it meets your clients and your satisfaction. And I did say with the right tool because you need to do your own research. Some tools have automations and different features that allow it to do things that you set it up to do, whereas others are a bit more limited in that area. So with that being the case, another significant benefit is improved organization. With project management tools, you can have project templates. You can establish standardized workflows and easily access important project details. This organization reduces the chances of errors and helps you to stay focused on the task at hand. Shush. Let's say you're a marketing consultant and you have a ton of remote contractors. If you're using a project management tool, you can create the template that includes all the necessary steps for that successful marketing campaign. This ensures that everyone on your team, no matter where they're located, because they could be in multiple time zones in the US, they could be in multiple countries. Okay, this ensures that everyone on the team, no matter where they're located, has access to the same information and can collaborate seamlessly. It eliminates confusion and enables smooth communication, which results obviously in a more cohesive and effective campaign. So when we're talking about that, like collaboration and communication, all these C's, they're essential in any business, but there's definitely essential in a service-based business. Your PM tool provides a centralized space where you can just really have that collaboration. And you have some tools that you can actually have your clients in the tool as well as your contractors. You can share files, have more open, transparent communication. You can also have it closed off to clients. You might have parts of it that are open to clients. However, it's designed for you and your business, it does enhance your collaboration and your communication. With that being the case, it can also help eliminate those endless email chains that just keep stuff all over the place. And it's like, where is that? And you're searching like feverishly for stuff that you cannot find because it's not in the project management tool. It's in your Slack, it's in your email, it's in all of these different various places, but it's not where it needs to be when you're trying to complete the task, which is in and of itself a problem. So with those things being considered, those are definite benefits to having a project management tool because miscommunication, it happens, missed deadlines, they happen, unmet expectations happen, frustrated clients happen. However, we are looking to lessen those things from happening by utilizing a project management tool so we keep track of project details and monitor progress effectively. So with that being the case, especially if you have multiple projects going on, you're servicing multiple clients, there's a lot that can get lost. And that's where we start to look at some of those dangers that are affiliated with not having a project management tool. You aren't able to keep track of the projects that you have going on. You don't know what your team is doing. No one on your team knows what other people are doing. And sometimes, let's be honest, you have tasks that maybe person A has to do up to a certain point and then it gets handed off to person B. Well, person B may not know who person A even is if you have remote teams and they've never met themselves and you don't have team meetings. So therefore, they don't even know who they're waiting on. They can't directly communicate with them, so then they're reaching out to you. Well, as the business owner, is that really a best use of your time to be the go-between your team? Because it's like, oh, person A needs this from person B needs this from person A. And person A doesn't even know person B and vice versa, so they don't know who to reach out to, so then they're reaching out to you. You're pulled away from money-making tasks in your business, money-making things that only you can do as the owner, and yet here you are finding yourself putting people in touch on your own team. Doesn't make sense. Does it? No, it doesn't. So with that being the case, you want to have a tool. You want to be able to have the ability for your team and yourself, because remember, I said this is even for you if you're a team of one, to see all of the steps in creating that deliverable and getting that to the finish line, whatever the project might be. And we talked about last week about reassessing scopes of work. You might have milestones that are in your scope of work. Those would go into that project management tool, and everyone who has something to do with that milestone will be able to be informed as to where things are in the process. You can create dependencies in some tools where person B can't do their thing until person A completes it, and person A knows, oh my gosh, every single time that I delay this, I am holding up someone else, because what they have to do is dependent upon what I do. And trust me, that dependency adds a little extra fire to people to get things done. And it's really important. But it's also important when one of the things that I've seen with people who do use tools is they don't use them effectively. And that's a danger. Like, ineffective use of a project management tool is bad. So when you have tools and you don't have people who are assigned a task, tasks just go in there. It's like task frenzy, and all these tasks are in there, yet they have no one who's responsible for them. In addition to that, they don't have a due date. Okay, so is it a dream? Is it a wish? Is it a like to have, a must have? Or is it something that truly needs to be done for this business to move forward? So ineffective use of a project management tool is a huge danger. And that's why I said I'm not going to get into the specifics of which tool you should use, because that is, I think, highly dependent upon you, your business, your team, that capacity you have for different pieces of tech. Because quite honestly, you can do things quite complicated and say ClickUp, Asana, or you might just use Notion and figure out a way to make that work for you. Whatever it is. It could be a spreadsheet, let's be honest. Whatever it is, though, needs to be set up for you and your business. And you need to understand that some of the functionality of some PM tools will be lost if you're using things like a spreadsheet. If you're using things more complicated like ClickUp, and you could do things that are more complicated. I've heard of someone, a friend of mine, she is a certified ClickUp consultant, and she set up an entire project where it was all automated, where a lady who owned a business was hiring a virtual assistant, and the process for hiring was automated in the sense of this person gets moved to an interview. When that label was selected, it fired off different automated tasks. All of those things depend upon you, your business, and again, your familiarity with tech, and also how you would like to have things set up inside of your project management tool. The point, though, still remains, you have to use your tool well in order for it to serve you and your business well. So you want to make sure that there are rules of engagement, the people on your team are in the tool. That's another thing that I've seen is people want some of the benefits of these tools, but they don't want to pay for them. You're not going to be able to have amazing project management tool efficiency on a free plan. You're going to have to pay for a plan. And you need to make that understanding, that connection in your brain that improved efficiency, increased productivity is the reason, 2 reasons, if we're honest, to pay for a plan. Stop trying to get by with very few seats. You have 10 people on your team, but you got 5 seats in your PM tool. That means 5 people aren't in the tool. Therein lies a problem. So dangers exist, and they are numerous when you do not have your tools set up properly, when you do not have rules of engagement, when you yourself are not even willing to invest in your business in order to have a tool that meets your needs. So those are some of the risks that are involved when you choose not to harness the power of these tools and optimize basically your business operations. It's all super important. So as I wrap up, I want to really focus on some actionable takeaways as it relates to 2 tools, project management tools. First one, research and select the right project management tool. Take your time to research the different ones that are out there because, again, you want it to suit your business and you. Because if you have one that doesn't and you're going to have to trade up to a new one or downgrade to one, it's a project. It's a project to move project management tools. And it's not sometimes a project we want to engage in. So do your research in the beginning. It's okay to do a tool that might have more bells and whistles than you might initially need because you can grow into that. It's different when you purposely maybe select something that does not have the capacity to grow with you because you are already setting a time in which you're going to have to move to another system. And that means you're going to have to use another system, learn another system, migrate all of your stuff to this new system, or you're going to need to pay someone to do that. So really think about and take the time to research and select the right project management tool for you, for your business, and what your needs are. You want to consider factors like ease of use, integration capabilities, like any sort of specific features that align with the workflows that take place within your business. You want to look for tools that have flexibility and scalability as your business grows. Those are going to be key important factors. Again, think about things like Do you want clients in your project management tool? Like I have one client, we use ClickUp, and we do have clients in there. However, it was designed with the help of my friend who's a ClickUp consultant. And so clients only have access to what's client facing. So through the use of hierarchies and folders and things of that sort, we have a setup that has clients in there because in this particular business, clients need to do certain things in order for the team to do certain things. But I have another client who's in Asana, and there are no clients in her work, and there wouldn't need to be. But we're in the process of moving hers from a workspace to an organization. Something else to think about in terms of what that looks like and if it's beneficial for you and your organization to have that kind of setup. So again, really important. I worked with a company who used Monday, and I think due to a lack of understanding how project management tools should be set up, there were boards for everything. There were duplicates. There was things that were repetitive. You really need to take the time to think through what that setup is going to look like so that it helps your business and does not hurt your business. So actionable takeaway number 1, research and select the right project management tool. Number 2, implement the chosen tool. It's not enough for you to go in and do this research and then basically you've gone shopping and you've brought it home and you've put it in the closet. If you do not implement the tool, well, what was the point? What was the purpose? There wasn't one. So once you selected the tool, you've done your research, commit to implementing it fully in your business, please, 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 please. Take the time, learn its features, learn its functionalities, and customize its fit to you and your business, to the workflows that take place in your business. If there's a need for project templates, Asana research projects, like whatever they need to be, establish your task list, integrate it into your daily operations. The more you invest in learning and using the tool, the greater the benefits are that you'll reap. It doesn't make sense to go buy some new shoes and bring them home and just set them in the closet. The closet doesn't wear shoes. So actually implement the tool that you choose. And number 3, utilize some best practices for effective project management. Honestly, people, when you start with a tool, you need to familiarize yourself. There are best practices that exist. Asana has forums, ClickUp has forums and Facebook groups, and all of these platforms, Monday, Trello, Notion, everyone has support or people who specialize in these things that will help you. Asana has ambassadors, ClickUp has certified consultants. All of these things exist. Utilize these people who know these platforms in order to help you have good best practices for effective use of it. For my one client with Asana, I literally met with an Asana ambassador who's also a forum administrator to ask him some questions around what we were looking to do with this transition. And I found him on LinkedIn, literally Googled Asana and something else. I don't even know what. And he came up and free chat with him to work through, and he gave me valuable insights. Use these people who have taken the time and have invested in learning these various tools that they can help you set up the tool the way that it needs to be, that you can grow into, instead of you trying to set it up and not knowing what the heck you're doing. So when you're doing it, obviously, again, you want to have clear project objectives. You want to break down your task into smaller, manageable steps, assign responsibilities, set realistic deadlines. Again, earlier I talked about tasks go in. They may not have a due date, but make sure the due date's realistic. Putting something in and saying you need it today when it's 2:00 in the afternoon, you're like, oh yeah, and I need this today. Did you tell your team member beforehand that you were going to need it today? Did they have time set aside for that? Were they expecting this? Come on, don't do that to them. So regularly also communicate with your team, clients too, if they're in there, with the tools, messaging, commenting features. Ensure everyone is on the same page. We like to utilize some rules of engagement. only certain people. In one client's case, it's myself and the owner. We're the only ones who can go changing deadlines without, like person A has decided, you know what, I'm not going to get to that. I'm going to move that to next week. That person does not have the 30,000 foot view of the business. They're in their silo and they're like, doesn't matter. I don't get this done until next week. I'm just going to move the date out. So they don't understand what else is dependent upon the completion of that task. Whereas the owner, the operations person has that 30,000 foot view. They say, oh no, we're not going to move that out to next week. This is the deadline for it. What do you need to make this happen? Because again, they don't see what they don't know. And they can't even begin to understand sometimes how things are connected. So you want to have some sort of rules of engagement around who can change deadlines. What kind of information do you want in the comments? And is it enough for your team to thumbs up a comment so that it lets you know they've seen it and that serves as an acknowledgement? Do you want your team to @ you and say, I've seen this, I acknowledge receipt? Whatever it is, these are the things that you want to have in your rules of engagement. Also, lay out for them what the setup is so that they understand how the tool is set up and how they can best function internally inside of the tool. Don't have tasks that go in that don't have anyone assigned, because therefore there's no one. The tool is not going to magically assume who should get that task. It will just sit there. It's not going to pop up on anybody's to-do items. It's not going to be in anybody's inbox. It's not going to be anywhere. It's just going to be in the system, in the tool, sitting there with no one assigned. So don't do that. Have someone who is, whether it's your virtual assistant, your project manager, your operations person, somebody should own every task if it's not a task that is specific to a certain team member. Because otherwise the task just disappears. It goes down the drain. It's there, but no one knows it's there. And that's a bad thing, because that's how things get missed. So lay out what works for you and your business and your team as it relates to best practices. Look up what other people are doing for best practices. Modify that to help you and your team and your business. So in conclusion, as service-based small business owners, we can greatly benefit from utilizing project management tools regardless of the size of our teams. The advantages of streamlining task management, improving organization, enhancing collaboration far outweigh the risk of not using these tools. And I want to repeat that. The advantages of streamlining task management, improving organization, and enhancing collaboration far outweigh the risk of not using these tools. I've seen the back end of businesses where they don't use a tool or where they are ineffectively using tools. It's bad. So don't do this to yourself and your business or your clients. Use a tool. Take the time to research the tool that you want. Make sure you implement the chosen tool so that you can optimize your business operations, improve client satisfaction, and achieve greater success. So I hope this was helpful. You take these actionable takeaways and actually implement them. Thank you. So I will see you on the next episode of Collab with Kiva. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Collab with Kiva. I'm wildly cheering you on as you go forth and execute data and operational efficiencies in your business. If you need additional support, connect with me via my website, the516collaborative.com.